What's up, podcast fans? It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and this is a very special edition of the Million Pound Mission podcast. I'm fired up that you are here. This is a special reboot strategy session. You get to listen in as I do a 15-minute hot seat session with one of my Transformation ReBoot clients, and we're going to dive deep on their top transformation danger zone. I think you get a lot out of these. You know, I'm somebody that's in the trenches. I enjoy working hands-on with clients and really digging deep on the areas that can really benefit them, that they can see the most impact from. I think a lot of these episodes you'll listen and go, man, I struggle with that too. And you're going to hear my best strategies and solutions for each one of those danger zones. So if you are digging this, hit me up on Instagram at Million Pound Mission. Let me know. But also, if you're like, wow, how can I participate in something like this amazing program? How do I do it, Adam? Tell me. Well, I'll let you know after the episode. I'll give you all the details on how you can become a Transformation ReBoot client and how you can save 50% on your launch fee and all the good information there. So hang out after the episode to get dialed in with the Transformation ReBoot program. But without further ado, let's dive into this strategy session. All right, Ian, welcome to your hot seat session, man. How's it going?
It's going really good, man. Thanks.
Excellent. Seems like you got some good momentum going. So what would you like to focus on with this session today?
I guess I've been thinking about it a lot. And I guess one of the things right now is about, we've talked about me actually trying to put on weight, put on muscle. And I recently found that I was having a hard time getting in as many workouts as I wanted with the diet I was following. I was doing keto and IF, which it was hilarious because when BJ Gador was on your program, he was like, I don't want to talk to these guys doing keto, IF, and CrossFit. Like, it's ridiculous. I was like, maybe he has a point. Because now I've decided to sort of broaden out a little bit to just sort of high fat, low carb, not really worried about fasting, trying to keep at least a 12-hour window, but, and so far, it's enabled me to work out more. I got to CrossFit like 3 times last week and got some runs in, and I'm just feeling like I've got more energy. So that part's good, but I did want to pick your brain a little bit about like putting on muscle. Like, it's trying to be not super anal if I see some fat coming along for the ride, because it feels like bulking up in general. Not that I got anything to worry about, but the dream is like cut and tone and six pack. And I'm like, well, I don't have that, but I'm getting more muscle. So I don't know.
Right. Well, do you have anybody that can do body fat analysis, or do you have any of the machines around? I mean, Chicago, they've got to have them all around.
Right. Well, actually, my partner, Alyssa, she's a nurse, and the annual health and wellness screening is coming up, and they do that. So probably in January, I can get that done. Yeah,
I would get it done, and that would be a good assessment. I would just take some basic measurements and then take pictures. And you don't need to do pictures all the time, but maybe once a month, do pictures. Just do front side,
I do some
front
pictures
side, back.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that way you got some just reference points, but always stand against the same door or whatever you stand against. Always, that way you have reference of just physical size.
Yeah.
Okay. And then do measurements probably once a month, and then try to get your body fat done maybe every couple of months or once. Or if you feel I feel like I'm putting on fat, the recipe that we're putting together here is we want to put on lean muscle tissue with minimal body fat gain. So when we go into a caloric influx where you're taking in more than what you're burning, then we will have the potential to use those calories for lean muscle development. We'll find it'll take a little bit of sifting and sorting to find the right amount, as long as you're consistent with your workouts. Where if you go over by too much, then we start putting on body fat, and or if you get kind of slack on the workouts and you have a higher caloric intake. So basically we need a kind of experimental mindset for a couple of 28-day cycles, and just not freak out about it.
Cool.
You can take it off easy. That's not your issue is putting on weight. So
Sure, yeah.
taking it off won't be an issue if you start to, we can tweak a few variables and that will take care of itself. So yeah, I wouldn't stress out about it. Like I would challenge you to eat, until you're full. Like I mean, do you ever feel like you're just stuffing yourself, like you couldn't put in another bite?
Never. No, not really. Especially since I cut carbs. Like I remember as soon as I started doing keto, I feel like, a couple weeks in, I was like, I'm never full anymore. I'm never uncomfortably stuffed. It just doesn't happen anymore, which was really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're trying to gain weight and gain lean body mass, I feel like it's important that when you eat, you should eat until you're full, not like stuff like I'm bloated and can't move, like a cheat meal type thing, but you shouldn't be like, well, I'm still hungry.
Right.
Eat until you're not hungry. Cool. So keep putting the calories in. And I mean, especially with your build, with the amount of work that you're putting in, it's going to be really, really hard for you to put on body fat, unless if you're just going to drink a bunch of alcohol or just go pure sugar, then that's a different story. But you're eating clean. You're eating really clean.
Yeah.
You're disciplined with your food. Yeah. You're working out hard. I mean, I would, you could keep a jar of almond butter in your pocket and just snack on that all day if you wanted to, man. That's
yeah. Well, I'm thankful to have the sort of go ahead to be like, let's treat this as an experiment for a couple of cycles, because that was the other thing too, is you're always talking about taking the pressure off. And I was realizing, I've struggled with depression my whole life. And I realized a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I was in that headspace where anytime I looked in the mirror, I was angry and hating on that guy. And I was just like, well, that's not going to be good at all. So figure that out. And I got to the bottom of some stuff, but also it's just I don't know. I thought a lot about your podcast with, I keep forgetting her name, about all the seasonality.
Alexa
Sherm. And
my thing kicked on again.
Oh no! Oh my God!
Who wants to talk to me? The machine. So annoying. I've got to move that thing. People keep bringing it up, and she's like, "Awake." She awakens.
Oh gosh, that happens when I say seriously. My friggin' every time. Seriously.
That's awesome.
But I thought about the seasonality and the cortisol stuff, and I was like, I feel like I'm, holding on to some fat because I'm denying my body, because I'm walking around with the mindset of I can't eat that, I can't eat that, I can't eat that. There's nothing here for me to eat. And it's well, first of all, it's not true. America, there's food everywhere. There's always food.
Yeah.
It's so for one, even if you choose not to eat a lot of stuff, my mindset was we'd be on the road. I'd be like, all right, 300 miles, nothing to eat. That's not a great, not a great stress reliever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So changed that a little bit and opened it up some.
Good. Yeah. I mean, I think you should feed yourself. I wouldn't be opposed to you taking a cheat meal every week, and just have a caloric influx each week where you kind of spike things a little bit and have some carbs and stuff. And then maybe you do a one intermittent fasting day after that, just to unbloat yourself and kind of reset and dial back in. But I mean, cool. Let's experiment, man. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Have you, you know who Henry Rollins is, Black Flag singer?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So have you ever read his essay called Mr. Pepperman?
No.
That's your homework, Ian.
Mr. Pepperman.
I'm going to be your Mr. Pepperman. It's so good.
Okay.
I'm
writing it down.
I read that, and it's what got me. That essay was my motivation to start lifting weights when I was in high school.
That's cool.
It's amazing. So you have to do it. You're gonna love it. It's just search Henry Rollins, Mr. Pepperman, or the actual essay. I think it's called The Iron.
Okay.
But it's about how Rollins got started with lifting weights.
That's cool. And my buddy in high school was a huge Rollins fan. Yeah. He loved the bands, the poetry, all of it.
Yeah. Same here. So yeah, so you'll like that. I think it's called The Iron, but it's really good. It's so good. Awesome. He's got a podcast called Henry and Heidi, And there's an episode where he talks about Mr. Peppermint that's really good too. So you should check that out. But anyway,
cool.
But yeah, I could see you doing that. I could see. I won't spoil it for you, but I could see you for a few months doing what he did, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So you have to dive into it, and we'll see what you think. Cool, but yeah, I think. Yeah. So when was the last time you've put on like 5 pounds? Like, has it been a bit since your weight's gone up?
No, I think it's gone up some.
Okay.
It's really tough because I was weighing myself every morning for a while, and it was like, hovering around 148. And then the last time I weighed myself, it was like 150, 151. So it's just slow, It's like a really weird.
Yeah. I mean, if we could put on 4 to 5 pounds a month, that's nice and slow. Like if you put on 20 pounds in a month, there's going to be a high percentage of that's going to be fat. Not a high percentage, but a higher percentage of that.
Yeah.
So, I think if we can kind of just stair step it and set some goals around that and be like, all right, by the end of January, let's have you at 155 or whatever. And then by the end of February, let's try to hit that 160 mark. And I think doing a 4 to 5 pound a month jump up, that'll be super.
That's awesome.
Very doable.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I definitely have to sort of like you said, sort of make goals around that, because like I don't have a very strong why for like, why do I want to put on 5 pounds or whatever, but I do have a strong why for like wanting to be better at CrossFit, like wanting to like look back, wanting to get those PRs, wanting to, master movements that I still suck at, like double unders. God, they're kryptonite. I practice like almost every day. Every time I'm at the gym, I'm just like, God damn it. Yep. But, so yeah, like that's a strong why. You saw some of my goals for,
your goal sheet was
include
good.
Running, which is interesting because like running, a lot of times people lose weight when they run, but I figure I don't run hard. I do keep it at like 2-3, lactate threshold.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and that's good. And as you put on muscle weight, you're going to see your lifts skyrocket. I mean, that was part of the issue of me gaining so much weight in college was I got addicted to that. I was like, I competed in my freshman year. I competed in powerlifting at 198 pounds, and by senior year, I was 280.
Damn.
So I kept on moving up in weight classes, and like I was like, man, if I weigh more, I'm gonna lift more. But then like food addiction started hitting hard, and I was just eating everything, so it kind of tipped the scales a little bit. But you'll notice that your lifts will really increase.
Cool.
Nicely. Like you'll feel a big difference on, deadlifts, squats, especially, you're pressing, you're just laying slabs of muscle that you're putting to use on there. So that's important. But yeah,
it's just even the last 2 months, like ever since, I joined the group, started the battle plans, things like that. And even reading the one thing, like kind of just narrowing my focus. You and I know that I have a very diffuse focus, a lot of interest,
a lot of energy. Yes.
But like the gains have been incredible. Like, and it's so interesting because I don't always see them on my body, but I can see the numbers in the gym. Like it's still pretty easy for me to bash through PRs, which means my ceiling is way up.
Yeah. There. I've been watching your videos and you're crushing your PRs, and that's good. So where are you at on the one thing? Did you read the whole thing yet, or is it?
I'm reading like 5 books, so I got about halfway through, I think. You know what the stupid issue is that I lost all my highlighters, and I hate reading books like that without my highlighter. So it's on my shopping list next time I go to Target, and then I'll resume. But I mean, I definitely absorbed the point, and it's made a huge difference because I really to admit to myself that my band and my music like is at the top of the pyramid and everything else kind of needs to serve that is hugely helpful. It does help me to like say no to certain things. I had an offer from a friend to do some work with them this Saturday, and I was like, that does not serve the one thing at all. So I'm going to keep that time.
Protecting it. That's good.
Yeah. And then, even the working out and stuff like that, like my band guys, they love it. And they know I'm in physical therapy now because the bass is like murder on my shoulder and hips. And it's like, well, I want to do it long term. So I have to protect this and make sure I don't get nerve damage.
Yep.
And I've been writing songs. I've talked to Amy. She's such an amazing partner. We have the greatest bond. But talked to her about how one thing I want to be accountable for is actually my songwriting, because it's a really important part of my future, my income. And so like battle planning that, I love the planning tools and so.
Yeah. And you can use with the goal achieving process, that sheet that I put in this newest cycle, I would put a yearly songwriting goal on there, because that's so measurable. Like whatever it is, like if you were to write 3 songs a month or whatever, we just multiply that over the year and then divide it back for the quarters, and then what's the next step, and that's easily accountable. So
totally,
I think that would be an awesome tool to use.
And it's so great because like as I've been getting certain routines established, it does free me up to focus on other things. Like right now, going to the gym has become routine. I don't even need to spend willpower points on it, which is awesome. So hopefully, the first year be like, all right, my goal is to write this many songs. And then the second year it could be, well, I need to get better at producing or whatever. I don't have to redo that goal because it's just become an established process is the hope.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can already see it happening with you. Like with your meditation, you're running your 5K, like all this stuff is just peeling off of each other, and but then it becomes a part of you, it's, you're absorbing the other superpowers, you're like, I don't know. I'm sure some superhero does that or some villain.
Yeah. The mindfulness is huge. That's how it all began. I started I downloaded my first battle plan workbook in May.
Yeah.
And was like, I have to make meditation a goal. And man, a light went on.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. So what else? We got a few minutes left here. Anything else you want to hammer out real quick?
I'm trying to think. Basically just, I was also telling Amy, and I meant to message you and Brooke, just like how much I love the fact that like so many of these tools that we've got, transformation tools, like I love that it's not just about weight loss. Like what you've given us is really powerful stuff, and I've been able to apply it to a lot of different areas, and it's just like, well, this is great. He needs to know.
Well, that's good. And that's a goal. Like I want it to be like improving life driven, not because I feel like we do that, then we can get healthy and we can be financially free, and we can help other people, and so that's we can achieve our goals and our dreams and feel like we actually have a shot at doing that. And that's like, I've been in the place where I felt like how am I going to do this? Like I've been in that dark pit before. Totally. And I would just want to lift as many people out of that sucker as possible. So
that's so great. I guess that's also where I've been trying to find my place, where I'm like, well, I was never overweight, and so I don't have that, I've been there mentality. But, I went through a lot of dark times in my head and with mental health stuff. So I was like, well, I have that. I was like, I can always empathize with people if they've been in a bad spot and are trying to climb out of it, because I do want to. I don't want to keep all this good stuff for myself. I want to help my friends and my family.
Yep. Yeah, no, you're in the right place, and you're an awesome addition to the group. And I think that this next year is going to be pretty incredible. And I enjoy watching you. And my gauge is when you go on stage in the Tough Curls short shorts, I'm like, his quads are getting bigger. I can tell. And look at the hamstring. Like when we were there watching, I'm like, look at the quads. His quads look great.
That's half my motivation right there. Is like, it's so funny too, because it doesn't have to be, it has to be, do I feel all right up here? It doesn't even necessarily like, oh, how do I look? It's like, do I feel okay in this skimpy ass outfit in front of all these college kids?
Yes.
So that's important. But and I keep telling my friend Jerry, he's trying to slim down a bunch for his wedding next year, and my brother Pierce, who his story is amazing. He's come out of a heroin addiction and he's doing really, really well, but he's still trying to drop some weight. So I keep subtly being like, guys, join this program.
Drop the podcast on them and just start them there. And
Keep mentioning it. Plus, I would love to have them in the group.
Yeah.
I was like, be in the Reboot group, and we'll have even more contact because they're great people.
Cool.
So,
well, I appreciate you spreading the word, Ian.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to jump to the next victim here, but I appreciate you. I think you're doing awesome. You're a great example of somebody, like when you first were thinking about joining, it was like, I don't know, I want to put on weight. Do I fit in? I feel bad. And I'm like, no, you have goals to accomplish that deal with your health and wellness. Perfect.
Totally.
You're in, and you've been a great fit. So
cool.
So thank you for believing me and believing in the program, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, Ian. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into this episode. I hope you got a ton of value out of it. And if you are somebody that is intrigued by this Transformation ReBoot program, I want you to check it out. I want you to dive in, take the information for a spin, and see what you think. You can head on over to millionpoundmission.com or click the link in the show notes and check out the Transformation ReBoot program. If you decide to dive in, use the promo code 50, FIFTY, to save 50% on your launch fee. Now, the Transformation ReBoot program is unlike anything else out there because it's not centrally focused on a nutrition program. It's not centrally focused on a new, shiny fitness program. It's focused on having a better game plan and providing support around that game plan, providing coaching and connection and community around that game plan. We've got an amazing mastermind group of like-minded individuals that are going to be relatable to you, that are going through this process together. Our community is awesome. We get to do monthly ReBoot strategy calls, just like the one you just listened to. We do weekly small group connection calls where we dive into topics or transformation danger zones, but it is just support. And that is what most people lack with their transformation. Again, they're willing to put in the work. They just don't have the support network around them to succeed. And that is about to change for you, my friend. Check out the Transformation ReBoot program. Go to millionpoundmission.com or click the link in the show notes.